on the bench here you can see all my bits and pieces. And as you know, I never pulled this tractor apart, so we can't actually risk not looking at anything. So all these high-low parts, a lot of them here, all the plates were pulled out and things like that. So we'll put them aside for the moment. We won't assemble them just to pull them apart again. One of the main problems with these tractors is on the high-low brake here. Now, on the high-low brake, it engages and locks up a couple of plates to grab a housing that through these slots up here. You can't really see, but anyway, through these slots up here, and that either holds or lets a piece of the planetary turn, depending on whether you want low or high range. So on tractors, if you have a tractor that when you put it in high, on Rabbit Turtle, you put it in high, let it idle, hop off the tractor, go and open the gate, you hop back in, all of a sudden you've got no steering, no hitch, something like that. You've run out of hydraulics because of the leak within the high-low here. So you'll find also that sometimes if you drop it back into low, the problem goes away. And in high, this is your high brake, this piston is engaged. So what we'll do is work through. Now, you probably don't need snap ring pliers for this, but we'll use them anyway. There's a snap ring here. The sole purpose of that snap ring is to not let this piston travel too far. It holds it in place, so if something else buggers up here, it all stays there. So we take that off, and then this piston just comes out. Now look at this, bingo. Now that ring, when I find the later type one here, there we go. Okay, a problem with these tractors is this O-ring here, and it's an L62272. The L62272 seal, it gets a bit of heat on it and it gets a gap in it. Now, with the little gap in it, the oil disappears out through the system here. Now, they were a little troublesome anyway, because when you have a piston ring sitting like that, sitting together, there's always a gap. And the system was never designed all that well. And John Deere, in their wisdom, they thought, well, if we take a steel piston out, a piston ring out, we put a neoprene one in, well, this one here has no gap. It's a better sealing surface. And look, it is. But the problem is, when you're doing hard hydraulic work with the tractor, and there's another problem somewhere, the oil gets really hot. And when the oil gets really hot, sometimes these get overcooked and they go a browny colour and they just crumble, they fall apart. So for this to have that piston ring in it, guess what Lance is using? This. I know the mod from John Deere was to go the other way, but I can put this packing in. I can know that we're never going to lose high-low. Like I think it's a good thing. That's why I said bingo. I thought, oh shit, what a beauty. My tractors never work hard anyway. They just poke around here slashing and mucking around. But I do sell some, and if I sell one from time to time, I don't sell them unless I know they're perfect. So also, we have a hook ring here, and John Deere upgraded the hook ring to this. So another neoprene one, so they can go back under the bench in the John Deere parts section. And look, I'm really pleased with that, I tell you. But look, what we have to do, and it's the same as with any other clutch pack, we have to make sure that these steel plates are not worn, or that the steel piston rings are not worn beyond using them. So if we get that over the centre of the screen a little bit. So we hook that together, pop him in here. Now we try and get this as level as we can. And we do that so that we know it's all good. Okay. Now can you see down there where the two hooks are? There's 2 or 3 thou at each end of the hook, but there's a nice big centre there. I think you can see it just there. So that big dot in the middle, that means we've got plenty of room there. So that's good, we're going to use that. Now the piston ring here, some people might disagree with me with putting this back in, but that's good. I just think it's the way to go in my instance. Now if we just poke this in, push that down somewhere near where it would run, pull that out, and you'll see a piston ring gap there if I get the bloody light right. There we go. You'll see that little gap there. So when we first put the tractor back together, that will always have that tiny little leak there. They brought them out for years with that. When you want a rear implement, as in a hydraulic motor, it's probably worth looking at, but you can always lock back into low to get your full supply. But this here, I can put this tractor back together now. I believe that that's nowhere at all. It's done 3,000 hours, 3,070 I think. And initially when I put it back together, the other O-ring would have given me a better seal, but for a shorter time. Me now, been putting this tractor back and knowing that this is in good order and I have the steel rings, that's fine. Now, I don't believe, I may be wrong, but in Australia, I don't believe we can buy these rings anymore, the steel ones. I think they automatically go across to the neoprenes. This here, I've given it a bath. You have the 4 pipes here. I can't remember exactly which is which, but it's something like 4-wheel drive, high-low, lube, PDA brake and high-low, or something like that. So, yeah, I can't quite remember that. I would have to look it up. This one here is obviously high-low because it lines straight up with the high-low, and this one must be lube perhaps. But anyway, neither here nor there. I just can't remember it, and I haven't looked it up in the book to tell you. It's not all that important. Now, each of these pipes comes out. And have a look on them and see if you can see right through them, like you can on this. There is O-rings in here that can be replaced. And mine are nice and soft, so whether I do or not, I probably will, seeing I'm here. Now, on your PDO and PDO brake, look, have a look at all of them. No way, that was leaking. And there was a pipe like this with a restriction in it, and that was to engage your PDO slightly slower. You know, on a big implement, you just don't want to go brr, brr, brr in it. It brought your PDO pack in gently. But look, all these are really good. That O-rings there, that's beautiful. Now the 50 series housing, where these pipes go in, the 50 series housing has a little dimple there. And there is a room for the O-rings. I usually put the O-rings in, but that little dimple, it's for a plastic seal that goes down over the top, and it gives extra sealing to here. So anyway, look, I'm tickled pink. Bloody dog wagging his tail having this proper ring in there. So this will go in like that. Try and get that as central as we can. Once again, a bit of your favourite grease around it. There's also a bush here that supports your high-low. Have a look, that's not crook, and this is good in this instance. I think we're getting a bit lucky with this tractor. It might be the famous last words yet, but we'll see. I'll just make sure that's good all the way around. Yeah, look, just in there I can actually see the original machining marks, the dark cast. Bloody beautiful. Okay, we'll pop a bit of grease around here just to help getting it in. And we'll bring this down. And just wobble them around with your fingers a little bit. No pressure. Now with the ones with the neoprene seals, you do have to get in there with an O-ring pick and fold it all in. It is a little bit more difficult than this job. Yeah, the inside one just sits on, and the one on the piston here, you bring it down and you actually have to just feed it in through the holes here just a little bit. So look, that's great. I'm really pleased with this. Now I'll put this snap ring back on. That can't go anywhere. I'll put the lid on the grease so I don't get it full of dust and whatever else can be floating around Bundy Bear's shed here. Alright, we do have plates and things to go in here, and I suppose we can go there, but we can't compress it. Now, the reason we can't compress at this stage is I'll just drop that in there, and then a steel one goes. Yeah, you have a thicker one, not the thickest, but a thicker one. Then a steel plate. Now these still, you see there still has the part number on it, and there's no, doesn't look like the lining wants to come off. But look, what I'm trying to explain to you with this is, with this other clutch pack, you have the sealing rings here, and this is where that bush goes. Well, you can't actually set all this up and hope to just slide that in. This has to line up with the clutch plates. So you leave it loose, slide the centre in, give it a wriggle around, make sure the clutch plates are aligned, then you pull it out and put your tension on the Belleville spring to hold it all together. So for the moment, I'm not going to muck with that. We'll put that aside. This is your high-low clutch. The other day, when we were doing the video on making the tool, I pulled this apart with your springs. Now your springs, they go together on the outside there, and then they go back to back there. So that gives you a little spring pack, and that's what you compress. So once we've got that off, this bit here, I usually just have a piece of wood. Well, give the camera a kick, man, she's good. And here's a bit of wood, and you just and we'll just give that a little bit of a help along. And there's the piston ring for the high-low. Now we'll have a good look at that. That looks good. Now we'll clean the housing. Now slide this in. And once it's level, once you believe it's true all the way around, have a look for your ring gap. That there's about 10 thou. That'll be fine for our high-low. There's probably a tad of wear on that, but look, not much. And also, as on the PDA pack, we have a 39304 here, which is a rubber packing. We take that and throw it away regardless. It may be in good order, but that's okay. So that needs taking away and washing. That little piece there. Now, this is our planetary for our high-low, and that's all been pulled apart as well. So what we have to do now, we can pull the centre out. Now, the gears run on here, these gears here, run on there, and this piece here, that's where the clutch plates run. It only has a couple of clutch plates, a couple of internal spines. So what we look for here is tooth wear if it's been running a bit crooked. We look to see if this is rough along here, so that when the plates are on they can float freely. The housing looks good. Now, at this stage we can pull this gear out and have a look and take note of the thrust washer there. Oh, they feel really good. And look at your bush, this fella here. And look, that's okay too. You can still see the white on it and got a little bit of wear, not much. Now, these pins here, they come out. And we look for wear in there. Now they get wear, there's a little ball that locates it. I'll just put that over there. There's a little ball that locates it and stops it from turning. And then we have a thrust washer, a couple of needle rollers and a thrust washer. So that's the setup inside the gear. I can probably put that on the shaft so you can see it better. We're looking for wear on there, galling. We're going to clean it up, make sure it's nice and clean. Once again, we look at the hardening's not gone here, the hardening's not gone here or here. That looks good. They don't have to be matched or anything like that. Little ball there, it's going to run away on me. I'll put a thrust washer there. And the same here. And once again, because I didn't pull the tractor apart, we have to look at everything. We don't know if someone slid this out and forgot a bearing or what they've done. We just don't know. So there's the bearings again. Check the gear. So that's the high-low stripped down. I'll go and wash all these parts up and we'll come and cover assembling it. And there's a few little things you need to watch out for, so yeah, come back and have a look. That'll be the end of this video. I'll go and clean up and get ready, and the next video will mainly be assembling your high-low pack and what you need to look out for.